blacks really benefited more the first 100 years after slavery than we have in the last 50 years. Have a winner and a loser. That blacks can only benefit if whites lose.
Welcome back. I am Van, and we are all the LFR family. Thank y'all so much for clicking play. Hopefully you click that like button as well. And later on, when you don't have anything else to do, make sure you go over to LFRfamily.com and ask me about the bang bang tea. Now we got our guy, Dave Rubin, and he's showing where a civil rights leader, and he debunked systemic racism. Let me say that again. A civil rights leader debunks systemic racism. And he did this on Dr. Phil. This is about to be hilarious, I already know it, but it's not going to be hilarious to some of the people who are, because some people get disgusted by these type of things, and they get upset, and they ready to fight, and all this stuff. And trust me, I know it. I see it still inside of my comment section. It's just not as much as the love and the support that you guys show. So I very seldomly, like, you guys quiet all of the hate with all the love that y'all provide. Let's check this out.
This is really good. So this is a black activist, I would say an activist who happens to be black, by the name of Bob Woodson, on the Dr. Phil show, talking about what has happened in the black community and how it relates to basically everything we're talking about here today.
You say you don't support reparations. Why not?
Not everybody suffered equally. I mean, when you go into slavery, it's much more complex than white people were the oppressors and black people were the victims. If you dissect it, you will find there were about 3,700 free blacks who owned 12,000 slaves.
Wow! 3,712 blacks who owned 12,000 slaves. Or I probably messed up the numbers and everything. But if all descendants of slaves got reparations, or all black people got reparations, because guess what? If you are a black person in America and you are against reparations, bruh, you are going to be cooked in your community. And whether they say it to you outright, you will see it all around the internet, the internet, you'll see it all the time, where they are pooping on people, not physically, but you know what I mean. But they're letting people know, if you're black and you're not for reparations, you are a coon, you are a sellout, you are Uncle Tom, you are against us, not for us, you don't love your people, you are whitewashed. It goes on and on and on and on. And this brother right here, shout out to him. He sounds like Thomas Sowell, someone who tells the truth regardless of whatever type of backlash they get.
Black slaves. The question is, do the descendants of those free blacks who owned black slaves, do they pay? Blacks really benefited more the first 100 years after slavery than we have in the last 50 years. I was born in 1937 during the Depression. Everyone in my small, low-income black community, 98% of the households had a man and a woman raising children. Elderly people could walk safely in that community without fear of being assaulted by their grandchildren.
I'm sorry, without fear of being assaulted by their grandchildren. Nowadays, no, you're looking over your shoulder, like Chris Rock said. You're not looking over. Black people ain't looking over their shoulder for no police. They looking over their shoulder for N-words. When I walk to the ATM machine, I'm not trying to make sure ain't no police over me. As a matter of fact, I want a police to be around. I'm looking over my shoulder for people who are thinking about taking my stuff, bust me over the head, stabbing me, shooting me, doing something like. Same thing. That's the reason why I don't allow my daggone wife. I ask her not to go to the gas station. I will do it. I ask her not to go to the ATM machine. I will do it. Different things.
Never heard a gunfire during that time. Never heard of a child being shot to death in the crib. But there are 50 children today who have been shot and killed in our cities.
Go ahead, bro.
You're talking about remedies. We've got to look beyond saying that every solution has to have a winner and a loser, that blacks can only benefit if whites lose. We have to be defined more than just victims of oppression.
Go ahead, man. Hold on. Oh, whoa. We need to run that back. We need to be defined more than just victims of oppression. God, come on, bro. He is dropping bombs. If y'all not paying attention, please pay
To
attention.
have a winner and a loser. That blacks can only benefit if whites lose.
And that right there is how a lot of people are thinking, man. Blacks we only win if they lose. We need for them to feel how we felt. We need for them to be in chains, and we need to be the ones holding the whips, and we need to make sure that they're out there in the fields, and we need to make sure that we're there. I mean, because that's how a lot of them think. It's so crazy. That's why I really don't understand why a lot of people enjoy talking about or listening to Charleston White. This dude got videos all over the internet talking about how he used to white girls and how he has no problem with it because they're white. But people love them some Charleston White. Why? Because he's going at the jugular of rappers. So they like, well, that's true. What he's saying to them is actually the truth. And he's helping out people in his community. So, you know what I mean? He's a good person, but he's a bad person. Yeah, something like Bill Cosby. He saves, but he R. Kelly. He makes great music, but he, you know what I mean? We'll take the good and the bad. No.
We have to be defined more than just victims of oppression. When whites were at their worst, blacks were at their best. When we were denied access to hotels, we built our own. We have to communicate to our people the history of how they achieved in the face of oppression. But if we continue to sit back and say all of the challenges that we face in out of wedlock births, of violence, that somehow the control of that is in the hands of white America, and therefore, until white people change, there's nothing that we can do. This sets up a terrible situation for this nation.
Go ahead, brother. I like him, man. I like this dude right here. He has given y'all some, hopefully every single black person that feel like we are always oppressed and we are beneath everyone that's white. Hopefully they're watching this. We can never get ahead. Oh yeah, we can get some money, but they still gonna hold us by this. They still gonna be ahead of us. Why? Because they white, we black. It's like the most ridiculous sugar honey iced tea in the world, bro.
This sets up a terrible situation for this nation. The big crisis facing America is not racial. It is a moral and spiritual freefall that is consuming our children. The highest death rate among black families is homicide. Among Silicon Valley, the highest level of suicide, 6 times the national average. In Appalachia, there are prescription drugs. And so if we are to address this crisis that is causing our children to lack a sense of personal responsibility or value for their own life, they will take their own life or take someone else's.
That's absolutely the truth. And a lot of people who try to disregard that, they take up for the people who are in Chicago right now, who are just running the streets, tearing down stuff, robbing and beating people up for no damn reason. They say, but we need to lock into the pain. Why are they doing this? Why? They're doing it because they sucker ass parents are not doing their jobs. That's why they damn doing it. If their parents did their jobs, they wouldn't be out in the streets doing what they're doing. Period. It's nothing else. It's not racism, white supremacy. It's not the fact that we don't have reparations. It's not the fact that the police are taking advantage of us. It's none of that. None of it. When you look at New York, when you look at Chi-Town, when you look at Philly, when you look at DC, they see the police out there and they still gonna commit their crimes. They still gonna commit their murders. They still gonna rob people. They're still going to do all of that. They are not afraid of the police. They don't give a damn about no racism, white supremacy. 1619 is nowhere in their daggone mind. They can care less about it. They're not thinking about going back to slavery. They don't even fear going to jail. They don't fear it. As a matter of fact, some of them look forward to it because that's where all their friends and their family are. They feel like that's a badge of honor. Yeah, I'm still gonna play the game. I'm gonna run. I'm gonna shoot. I'm gonna do all this other stuff. But when you catch me, I'm gonna get locked up. But I'm gonna do it with no problem. I ain't gonna snitch. I'm gonna get back out as a better criminal, and I'm gonna do whatever I want to do. Come on, man, relax.
So in order to address that, we must come together and look beyond race and realize America is drowning because it's in a moral and spiritual freefall. None of us should be defined by the worst of what we were in the past, but we should be defined by what we want to become in the future, and that people are motivated to change when you give them a vision of victories that are possible, not constantly reminding them of injuries to be avoided.
Come on now. This dude is preaching. And he's not preaching fallacies. He's not preaching like fairy tales. He's not saying things that are not reachable. He's speaking like a man who already has his kingdom. He's speaking like a man who has his wife or had his wife, who have children, who have grandchildren, who are well educated, who understand who they are, who understand what they bring to the table, who don't look at other people as higher than them or beneath them, who just look at themselves as what they're capable of doing. He is speaking like a God-fearing man, period. And that's what I love about this guy.
What makes more sense? What that man is saying, or what you hear out of Lori Lightfoot or Pete Buttigieg or Joe Biden?
Now, what makes more sense is what this guy is saying. As a matter of fact, did they ever say his name was? Bob Woodson. His name is Bob Woodson. Shout out to Bob Woodson, man. I need to go check out some more Bob Woodson because I like the way he talks. A lot of times when you take accountability for yourself, people who are in the struggle, so to speak, or people who are in the fight that they believe that you're not in, they automatically assume that you're giving them a pass. Nah, we're not supposed to give them a pass. Racism does exist, and that's the reason why we're doing what we're doing. Every single thing we're doing is because of racism. Nah, bro, relax. I come from the same neighborhoods as most of these people that's out here committing these crimes. I was in the mix of it just like them. I still have a great deal of friends who are still in the middle of it, just like them. And guess what? Some of my friends, their children are dealing with it just like them. Just got to continue to move forward, continue to lift yourself up, lift others up, and try to win. Play the game to win. Really. You don't have a whole lot of time here on this earth. You don't. May seem like you do, but you don't. Make the best of it. Build your own nation. Teach as much as you can possibly teach. Show as much positivity and love that you can possibly show. And keep it moving.